Welcome to another episode of Video Game Reviews, and today we're going to be talking about Steel Assault on the Nintendo Switch. So this game just came out about a week ago as of the time of this recording. Now I don't know when I'm going to get around to publishing this, but hopefully soon. But anyway, yeah, so this is a new drop. It dropped with a very small sale. I think I saved like $1.50 on it. And I want to say the original price is like $15. So I paid like maybe $13.50, something like that. Okay, so let's dive in. What we have here is an indie game, obviously, that was kind of crafted after the style of a Neo Geo game. It's got that look, it's got that sound, and I love it. And so I'll just dive right in from there and say the visuals and the audio are completely on point. I love both. This game is, visually speaking, I mean, it's just a 2D masterpiece. It's beautiful. And the sound effects are like crunchy and satisfying and great. Like all of your attacks and your hits that you land and everything. Like you really just feel the impact thanks to those sound effects and everything. The next thing I'll address, I guess, is the length of the game. So it is, as you may know, if you watch this channel, you may recall that I mentioned from time to time that it's very important for me that a game does not overstay its welcome, and I feel like a lot of them do. I feel like, I don't know if I'm going to say most games, but it might be most games that I feel like just go on a little too long. They just pad that runtime, and it's just real obvious that that's what they're doing. So the good news is that's not the case here. This game is short. It's short. It's, even for me, this game is maybe too no, I think it's about the perfect length, actually. So it's only 5 stages. The game is only 5 stages, and I finished the game the second time that I ever sat down to play it, but I don't feel bad about it because it's a quality product. I had a great time. These people obviously put some work in, and there's a lot here to like, and there's a lot here that I feel good about supporting, but it's definitely, it's about as short of a game as they could have gotten away with. However, I would still rather have that than have it drag on too long and sacrifice quality for quantity, which they didn't do here, so that's great. So now I'm going to talk about the gameplay a little bit. It's really kind of unique and draws obvious inspiration from several classics. So your main weapon is an electric whip. That obviously harkens back to Castlevania, which will get anybody huge brownie points coming from me. So that's one inspiration. The other inspiration is kind of, even though your weapon is a whip, the game feels more like a run and gun. So I do feel like there's definitely some Contra inspiration here, particularly with one boss where there's one boss in this game that reminds me of that boss in Contra 3, the Alien Wars, where you're riding on missiles and you're riding on the fighter jet or whatever, which is not a bad thing. That's great. I mean, they took clear inspiration from 2 Konami absolute classics. So kudos to them. If you're gonna take from somebody, take from the best. And they did. And then the third bit of inspiration is a little bit more of a loose connection, I would say. So there's clearly a little bit of inspiration here from Bionic Commando. Yeah, so the reason that I say that is a little bit more of a loose inspiration is that, okay, so you have a zip line, that seems at first very similar to the Bionic Commando grappling arm. But in actual practice, it isn't. First of all, because here in Steel Assault, you can jump, whereas in classic Bionic Commando, you could not. But then secondly, you don't swing from your what you have is a zip line, not really a grappling hook in this game. And so the difference is the zip line has to connect to 2 points. And you can shoot it straight up and down, you can shoot it diagonally, or you can shoot it horizontally, and then you can kind of monkey bar across it, back and forth at your leisure. It's basically, it becomes like kind of a platform for you, but you hang from it, you don't stand on it. And so yeah, I've never really played a game that had that mechanic before. I'm not sure if there is one. I think there's an obscure NES import that does something similar, but I haven't actually played it. Let's see, so moving on. So at the end of my first session with this game, I thought that it might be... I was like, I wonder if I'll ever finish this game, because I got really stuck on the second boss for a minute. And, then that's when I put the game down, and I was like, wow, if this is only the second boss, how am I going to do with the rest of the game? And... well, let me tell you, once you figure out that second boss, for me at least, in my experience, that boss was the hardest part of this entire game. And once I figured that out, I cruised through the rest of the game in a single sitting. There were a couple of like challenging-ish parts. The aforementioned boss that you fight in the air actually was pretty tricky, because there's something that you have to do to dodge one of his attacks that isn't, it's like maybe a little counterintuitive at first. So it took me a minute to piece that together, but outside of that other instance, I can't think of, nothing comes to mind in terms of anything that like really, really tripped me up playing through this game. That's it, man. That's all I have to say about this game. That's basically my review. So is this game worth it? Here's the thing, man. Here's the thing. At a $15 price point, honestly, I feel like that's a little steep. Even though I like the brevity of this game, I know that will be an issue for a lot of people. And so with that in mind, I don't know if I can recommend it to everybody, but if you feel like that's not going to bother you, I would say stick it on your wish list and wait for a sale. It's a quality product, but I do feel like 15 is a little ambitious of them. If this game were priced, honestly, I'm going to say $7 to $10. That would be the sweet spot for me. That would be, I would tell you absolutely, if, as long as the brevity of the game doesn't bother you, then at the $7 to $10 price point, I would say, like, go out and get it immediately. Like, it's pretty fun. But at that extra $5 is, it's just not worth it. Ultimately, this game is basically a rental, right? You're gonna play it. You might get, hung up on a few parts a few times. You might have 2 or 3 sessions with it. I don't know. You're gonna finish the game, and then chances are you're gonna be done with it. So, although it could be a really awesome game for speedrunners. I could definitely see that. Alright guys, well that's it. Listen, thanks for watching. Please click like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.